government, and it says that we have an obligation to teach our children how to make a living. And if we don't, it's as if we're teaching them how to steal.
Too much propaganda, spiritual pollution, too many problems, not enough solutions.
All right, listen up, y'all.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is another episode of All Things Education Official. I'm your host and educator, Dr. Abdullah, giving you educational news from a foundational Black American man's perspective. If you like what you're seeing, you like what you're hearing, please subscribe, comment, like, and share. Subscribe, comment, like, and share. Put me in the algorithm. And if you like, please follow me on my social media handles at Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, TikTok, LinkedIn, and X. And if you like the content, you feel confident about what I'm putting out here, please feel free to go to the About section or follow the link on the screen and buy me a cup of coffee. It will be greatly appreciated. This segment was created due to a life-altering interaction with the man by the name of Steve Schiffman Jr. This was probably around 1994. That I met this young man, and at the time I was in my mid-20s and he was in his 30s, and he was the accountant for a bagel shop called Elaine's Bagels in Troy, Michigan. And one of the things he taught me was about all of the things that help to make a community work, but the way he brought it to me was crazy. He was attempting to tell me the ills of the Black American community. Of course, I took offense to it initially, but after I took the time just to listen, I actually gleaned some of the wording and some of the lessons that he put out. And I want to share some of that with you today, because even though it was coming from an individual out of the Jewish community, I have noticed it by living in New York 25 years, majority of my life. I've noticed that these same principles are prevalent in all communities that are self-sufficient and don't rely on anyone but themselves to be successful as a group. Rule number one, community is number one. I've had the fortunate circumstance of traveling around the globe, and there are many consistencies that I've noticed in almost every country that I've traveled. The financial hubs of most countries have an eerie resemblance to New York City. The whites of the country live much better than the blacks, meaning that the underclass typically is the darkest population. The media propagates the whiteness over blackness and shows whiteness as a goal to aspire. And in line with this video, the Jewish communities in these respective countries tend to be financially stable, insulated, and self-sufficient. If you live anywhere in America, if there is a Jewish community in your city or surrounding area, you will notice that they are doing well despite any local, state, and or federal political and financial situations. They have mastered the art of community and have reaped the rewards of mastering it.
So here it goes. I remember one day I came home to my mom and I said that I want to be a rabbi. And she says, a rabbi is no job for a Jewish boy. And what she meant, reading between the lines, is that you don't make enough money being a rabbi.
Number two, religion is not a profession that honestly pays the bills. Much as the Jewish community focuses on their faith, unlike Black Americans, there does not seem to be a rush to be a part of the religious leadership class. Black pastors and preachers over the course of my lifetime have not been successful in teaching our community to be self-sufficient, but have been extremely adept in making themselves a living at the expense of the people. If you want to become wealthy in the Black community, learning how to speak, orate, and deliver sermons that pander to the women of the community, you'll be extremely successful. But if you want to spiritually feed the people what they need as opposed to what they want, you will not make a living as a preacher.
So it's very rare that you're going to see, I'm just going to call it what it is, hate me for it, but I don't care. It's very rare that you're going to see a Jewish person as a cleaning lady or a garbage man, because those professions don't make enough money. So you're regularly going to be taught growing up in our community that you want to have a job as a professional or a job as a business person so that you could earn a lot of money. This is implanted in us very young.
Number three, what you do professionally is not about happiness. It's about making money. Many Black Americans in previous generations, such as Generation X, my generation, the baby boomers, silent generation, etc., were taught that you need to be happy so that you could work effectively and efficiently. We would have been best suited to tell our children and to have been told that you do not go to work to seek happiness. You seek happiness within your family and your community. While the jobs of cleaning lady or sanitation workers may be enough for some, it is not wrong to teach our children the truth. These professions do not provide a high quality of life across the board. There are exceptions to the rule, depending on location and local economy, but generally speaking, these types of positions do not create enough income to be impactful upon your family as well as your community. We must teach our children to reach the pinnacle of their abilities.
Why does a person need so much money? The answer is it's expensive to have a family. Tuitions are private, kosher food is very, very expensive, and we have big communities that we need to support and to give charity through. Our children are taught very young to think big and to aim big.
Number 4, your earnings are for your family, your community, and then yourself. In order for us to grow as a community, we must let go of the practice of stunting and shining on others that are in our same situation. Trying to look the flyest with the newest sneakers, clothes, and cars will always draw valuable resources away from our community. There is no flex in being the best dressed slave on a plantation. We need to instill in our children the belief that the money that they make should benefit their families for at least 2 generations, and that the community, if supported, will make sure that everyone is taken care of. Trying to outdo one another in public but counting pennies in private does not help anybody. Everyone loses with this mindset.
I know I can be what I want to be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be. And that's what we teach our children at a very young age. And you might be saying to yourself right now, well, of course, Jewish people teach their children how to make money. Everybody knows that Jews are obsessed with money. Well, let me tell you something. Our beautiful Torah, given by the Creator himself, gives us a very special commandment. And it says that we have an obligation to teach our children how to make a living. And if we don't, it's as if we're teaching them how to steal, because they won't be able to put food on their plate any other way besides stealing.
Number 5, being successful and wealthy is commanded by God to avoid sin. Gone are the days of teaching our children that there is actually some nobility in suffering and having little, but in the same breath supplying them with unnecessary items like the newest games, cell phones, sneakers, jeans, etc. I must admit that I did not grow up with everything, and because of that, I worked hard at acquiring meaningless items. And I also indoctrinated my children with the same destructive ideology. A part of being a responsible adult is knowing where you went wrong, admitting and swaying others away from it. It's key, and that's what I'm doing in this video. We must teach and nurture our children's strengths and choose careers that are lucrative and in line with those skills. We must constantly reinforce that our children can be what they want to be as long as it's in line with success and complete financial freedom. This is the goal. To do other than that should be looked upon as a sin, and it should be avoided at all costs.
So when you're talking to your children about making a living, help them aim high. Help them to understand that money is something that is important in this world, and it will greatly benefit you and your family and your life, because generational poverty is so destructive. Poverty is so difficult that you don't want to be in that position. And the way that it starts is through the children and to raise them with a proper financial mentality. Why? Because the schools are not doing it.
Number 6, children must be led to successful careers in order to avoid poverty. I remember being told by Steve Schiffman Jr. that as a child, he wanted to be a basketball player growing up. But because he was short, uncoordinated, and generally not good at sports, his parents squashed all that ill-fated desire and put him on the path of success. And because he was great with numbers, he became a high-earning accountant and worked directly for his father at Elaine's Bagels in Troy, Michigan. I remember that he told me that as a people, we need to stop telling our children that the lie, that they can be whatever they want to be. That is a lie, and I fully agree that we need to abandon this practice. There are certain things that we may want to do, but because we do not have the actual ability to be successful and successfully pull it off, we waste a lot of time making endless attempts only to walk away empty-handed. As parents, we must identify our children's strengths, make them aware of what we have identified, make the honing of those skills a priority, and push them to be the best at it. The curse of poverty has robbed the Black American community for generations, not because we lack the talent to be great, but because we are not intentional in what we teach our children. There is no shame in being excellent, and there should be a stigma attached to those who are comfortable living hand to mouth, especially if they do not have a desire or goal to become greater than they are currently. Schools are not in the business of creating self-sufficient individuals. It's purely up to us to do so. What do you think? Do you agree with these 6 rules? Please don't get caught up in the fact that it's the Jewish community or any other community. Just know that any community that's self-sufficient and is pushing themselves to be great, we can follow that blueprint because we have the skill, we have the talent. We just gotta be intentional on how we put it in place. You are dismissed.
Too much propaganda, spiritual pollution, too many problems, not enough solutions. So many billionaires that make no contributions. We gotta create, fund, and maintain our institutions. Too much propaganda.